We'll next move to the Safer Christchurch strategy report here, which is simply answering some questions from a previous committee. The intent is to move to morning tea after this report. Just let you know ahead of time, so don't get asked. They weren't hot biscuits, so it's all good. So the previous committee had the annual report for the Safer Christchurch strategy and had some questions based on it, and this very short report is simply answering those questions. But I know that there are further questions based on this that people would like answered. So, hands up. Tim.
Thanks, I'll start the ball rolling. With regards to crime prevention cameras, it does seem, and I mentioned this upstairs, that there's the maintenance and the ongoing upkeep for those that are installed, because it's one budget, so you've got those two elements, and the third element is in buying new cameras for communities that are in need. Obviously, as you get more and more cameras, that fixed sum kind of erodes to the point where we won't be able to get new cameras. So I'm just wondering about mobile cameras, because there must be an area somewhere that a camera has gone and made a difference. Then you can move that camera, because I know in my community, there are everyone at this table have places in their community that they feel they want them or they need them, but there's no point at the moment.
Yeah. So your observation is correct about the as this goes up and this goes up, the money goes down. The major issue we have with portable cameras is that these are hooked to the police system. So there's a real security issue there around having something that sits on the side of the road that's directly linked into the police system. The other one is access back from the camera to our systems. So when we put a CCTV camera up somewhere, there's power to it, there's the Wi-Fi feed, there's all of that. Now, I'm not saying that's impossible. It is a lot more complicated. If it's something you'd like us to look at, we can have a look at it. But the security side of it is probably the biggest concern. Having something that sits on the side of the road that is moved around, that is, it's not high up a pole, it just sits there. But I take your point about how they could be used. I just don't think we've got to the point where we've quite sorted out that security issue with them.
I think the security issue is a big one, and the reason we're talking security is because there is a need for them, and that's why. But I mean, I guess, if you can get a picture of the person at your front door on your phone when they're knocking on your door, there is a way around it. But it would be really good to sit with police and ourselves to work out A, how we move forward on this, and B, who chooses and who decides and how that is done. So thank you very much, Gary, and that would be really good to meet it with police to discuss.
Yeah, so we'll plan a workshop either with the committee or with council around this whole process.
Thank you. Cheers.
Maybe we could get you across to the building to have a look at it as well.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Cheers.
Gary, do you want to just, before Jimmy's question, would you just give us a very quick rundown on how locations are chosen?
Sure. Okay, so I'll give you a wee bit more information.
Board or community to input into that process.
Okay. So community input into this is through the community board. The community board's way, and I've sent out a process to all the governance managers. Basically, it is a resolution to an internal working party to have a look at if it's viable or not. The financial situation at the moment is that we haven't had a maintenance budget for 2 years up until the last annual plan. The annual plan allocation that we got last year will be exhausted with maintenance, replacement and repairs of cameras, which hasn't happened over the last couple of years. The reason we have an internal group working now is because before that it was a little bit of a one-man show here and a little bit of a one-man show with the police station. So 2 people basically chose where those cameras went on demand. We've now brought that back in and said we want the community boards and we want community to have more of a say ultimately the police are the ones that we rely on to give us the information on where the highest call is, but we certainly want it to be more inclusive. So community would approach the community board would make a resolution for the working party to have a look at it. We would then go back. It is an opportune time to say, I have 3 on the table at the moment and I will do reports to them, but at the moment there is no money for new cameras in this financial year, but we would expect that we will have cleared the backlog of maintenance repairs with this annual plan, and from the 1st of July, once we get through the maintenance and everything else out of that, there may be a residue left for new cameras, but we just can't keep putting a whole lot more new ones in when there is a maintenance cost to them as well. Like there's 2 costs to a new camera. However, there is a slight increase over the next 4 years in that budget from the annual plan. It's not huge, but each year there is a little bit more. That's probably all I can say at the moment. In terms of allocation, we are really driven by the police on their need. Remembering that personal security for these cameras are not going to stop someone being a burglar in your house. What they will help is they'll help tracking that burglar once the burglar leaves. But these are not, these sit on the side of the road. They're not aimed at people's houses. They're not able to be used like that.
Kira, thank you. Jimmy and then James.
Yeah, I still would like to follow this kind of CCTV camera, because my understanding, you explained regarding to the, those prioritized from police, then send it to the committee board, then we put on a budget. But my understanding in the committee meeting, I never heard regarding to the prioritize, how many the committee board need to suggest install, and also the which area. I never, aware of this information. The other one is I'm pretty concerned because the budget is very limited. Should be presented to council. We give our overall view, holistic view. In which area, why that's very, very crucial, very important emergency. Then probably council overall to make a kind of a decision. Otherwise, some area very urgent, very emergency, but they lost opportunity to install this one.
Okay. So, just so I'm understanding, so you would like it to come back to council to make the decisions on placements of cameras in place of the police making those decisions?
Your budget is limited. Your budget is limited.
Yep.
Am I right?
So that there could be more cameras.
But some area, what I would like to example, like the Templeton, those stairway shop, my understanding suggests that along the street should be installed. That's why, because within a year, there's 3 or 4 times those, intrude those stairway shop. Committee will have a suggest, but we didn't, still not yet to install that one.
So Gary, will you have a report back at some point to the community board on that one? With an explanation?
So that's not the one they've asked for. They've asked for 2 others, that board, but
Okay.
there will be a report back on that.
That's great, thank you. And my understanding from work we did in Sumner last year was that the police had, separate to this, a new network of security cameras going in across the city. Is that right?
No,
I
not
thought
my
there was,
understanding,
no? Okay. James?
How much do those cameras cost?
So depending on the type of camera, so I can go with the one for Sumner. So the Sumner camera we put in had 4 static cameras, and I don't know what the official title of it is, but a rotational camera on the top. I think installation and everything went a little bit higher because we had about 25,000 to put that in. That's Wi-Fi'd and up and working.
And that's with 4 cameras? did you say?
4 and the one on the top, so 5 basically.
For 25?
Why do you want one?
Yeah. I want one for home. No,
Yeah.
in all seriousness, because someone could be watching this,
Yes.
the Brooklands community is very concerned about the fact that they're very isolated, that's all, and I wanted to find out what we're talking about.
This is sort of on a tangent, but from what you said, you're getting data from the police.
Yes.
So we don't see that always at community boards. So can you make sure that's sort of regularly coming to the board so they can see it?
Yep, so I've emailed, while I sat there before, I've emailed the police asking for to have a look at how we can integrate the community boards back into
Cool.
police information.
Great.
So, yeah, next step. Thank you.
Thanks so much for that. Are there any last questions, Jake?
I'm pretty sure you've answered this question before, so I'm not really sure why I'm asking it again.
Okay.
But is there any
Have a good
opportunity
reason.
for community boards to use their DRF if they wanted to purchase a camera, or is there operational budget reason?
There's operational budget there. I don't think that. If I speak honestly, the danger of that is that community boards that have larger budgets are able to purchase cameras, and this should be on a need basis and where the highest need is, not who can afford to put one.
Wasn't there a decision last year that ended up meaning that community boards could no longer do DRF?
That's my understanding. I'll have to confirm.
Yeah, we'll look back through that stuff and get some information out to people on that process and those kind of things. Yeah, okay. There were issues with ongoing maintenance and other bits and pieces. And also, yeah. Okay, so I think one of the things will be that it's sounding like some information could come to council workshops and things ahead of the annual plan on the potential for additional budget for crime cameras, just some information so that could be part of the decision making in the annual plan. That would be really good. Anne, did you have a last question? Oh, you're going to move it? Excellent. A seconder? Jimmy? Is there any debate on this? No, and with that I'll just put it. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? No. And with that we come to, that's a passed, yep. And with that we come to a 10-minute break.
Thank you.
So I will see you guys back here at 11:05.
Thank you.
That's okay. It's all good, I think we're managing it. Seems to be going okay.